For her judgment reacheth unto heaven,
Mm-hmm.
and is lifted up even to the skies.
It said that her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. What does that mean? It's a mushroom cloud, brothers and sisters. Radiation, all kinds of things just everywhere. They say, you know what? It's about to go down. It's time to go. They're about to close the gates. Speaking of closing the gates, Elder, let's go to the next slide. Flee the United States before they close the gates. Flee the United States before the United States closes the gates. Go ahead and read Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 6.
Jeremiah chapter 51, starting at verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul.
Deliver every man his soul. It is your responsibility to leave out of the midst of the United States. That's your responsibility. Don't think that the Most High is going to send a spaceship to come down here and suck you and all your homies up and take you somewhere else. That's not what's going to happen. That's not what's going to happen. He says to flee. That means that you got work to do. Brothers and sisters, it means you got work to do. Even Zechariah, I'm going off track here with one of these scriptures. Zechariah chapter 2, verse 7, it says, deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon. It says, if you're living in the United States, deliver thyself. Put a one in the chat if y'all know that majority of the brothers and sisters in the United States aren't going to heed to this warning that the Most High gave them, and they're going to stay there and be utterly destroyed. This is not a doctrine. This is a command from the Most High. He said, if you want to take part of her judgment, by all means. But I'm giving you the warning that when they leave, you leave. You're not going to, the Most High said that when judgment comes on Babylon, judgment is coming on Babylon. And if you don't want to partake in her judgment, get out. Again, Zechariah chapter 2, verse 7, for those who might have missed it. Deliver thyself. Deliver yourself, O Zion, Israel, that dwellest in the daughter of Babylon. Deliver yourself that live in the United States. I told y'all we shaking today. We shaking today. You can store up all the foods you want. You can pack it up to the ceiling if you would like to. You can build a bunker underground. You're gonna see what happened to those people that do that. We ain't even close to the destruction yet, brothers and sisters. We're not even close. We're gonna get this scripture and we're gonna take a quick break. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 29. Yeah, I'm on a roll now.
Jeremiah chapter 50, starting at verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Call together the archers against Babylon.
Call together the archers against Babylon. Read.
All ye that bend the bow.
Mm-hmm. Everyone that has their nuclear weapons. Anyone that has a weapon to shoot, bend the bow. Read.
Camp against it round about.
Camp against it round about. That means that it's going to be trapped. People ain't going to be getting out, brothers and sisters. What does it say? Read.
Let none thereof escape.
Read that again.
Let none thereof escape.
Read that one more time for the people in the back.
Let none thereof escape.
Let none thereof escape. That means that when those gates close and those walls are finished and that dollar crashes, no, it's going to be an all-out war for your life. And at the end of it, bombs are dropping. He said, let none thereof escape. Ain't gonna be nobody saying, yeah, man, you know, I was in the United States, and as soon as that bomb dropped, the UFO just picked me up, took me right up out of there. Nah, the Most High said, deliver yourself. If you don't deliver yourself, you're gonna be stuck right there and die by yourself. The Holy Spirit ain't gonna be there. The Most High ain't gonna be there. Christ ain't gonna be there. King David ain't gonna be there. Moses, Abraham, you can call on any of the ancestors you want. Ain't none of them coming to help you. And when you go wherever you're going, and when you go to the other side, then we sit there looking like they told you to leave. Were you not told? You said, no, the Most High can deliver me for all things. He can. Didn't say he would. Let's go ahead and finish out this verse right here.
Recompense her according to her work, according to all she has done.
Yep.
Do unto her. For she hath been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel.
Proud against the Lord. She hath been proud against the Lord. Read.
Against the Holy One of Israel. That's it.
That's it. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back. We're going to get into the next part of this lesson, where we're going to go into what happened in 70 AD. What was Christ talking about when he said, when you shall see the cities compassed with armies, flee into the mountains. We're going to go back to Josephus and see if this looks eerily similar to what happened when our people fell in 70 AD to the Romans. We'll be right back in a moment.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I pray our highest say, thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Get it. Temptations coming, gon' fill up my cup. Feeling weak, gon' hit my line, knocking, I pull up. 2 or 3, ride in his name, and you know what's up. Demons flee when they hear the name. That's enough, it bring me peace. I'm not worried about so-and-so, I'm straight, itching ears. People die daily without knowing truth is engineered. Tell them store rations, famine's coming, and the end is near. You gon' die as prophesied, they tell you not to mention fear. Players come and roll up your sleeves and take one of these. Seen the purge, never mind, you can see it in the streets. Get your passport, cause your ops coming. You need you a man, girlfriend, the cops not coming. Revelation's been revealed, no longer with jigsaw. Hit the bank with a mask on and make a withdrawal. It's the new Babylon, baby, everything is legal. Change your name and your zip code and your chromosomes. Yeah, that's martial law, call him Jack Boo. Come to ink your heart on your sleeve like a tattoo. If you don't cooperate, you ain't see us on no street corners prophesying, telling you it might pop off the day. Pray the Most High, keep a hedge around me. High time, we gotta see this what the prophets wanna see. See my own family turn their back on me. Enemies screaming peace when we know what that means. Whoa, we in the hour of temptation. This is revelation, baby. We in the hour of temptation. And this is revelation. Time flies, it's getting real about a minute. The righteous will remain, you'll be taken if you sinning. The evils will increase, this is only the beginning. As in the days of Noah, he's coming for a remnant, as it was written.
The Most High sending plagues on this earth as before. Even the people you love the most, the Bible said they turn to foe. Protect your family, keep them close. Resident evil creeping close. Still sleep, you don't want to see. If you woke, then you gon' know when it be time to go. Ain't finna be stopping, no. The enemy watching close, but the Most High got us though. Better get your mind right. This all happened before. Remember Lot's wife and Noah, it's right at the door. The end is near, it's real. You got that still, but it won't matter unless you seal with the Holy Spirit, and that's for real. I'm just keeping it 144. Yeah, your soul on the line. I just wanna put it on your mind. Now's the time to draw the line. I don't speak with riddles. It's left or right, no middle. Oh, you wanna be hot and cold? You don't wanna be turned to spittle. You block your blessings trying to live your life just like the wicked. You tripping. They time is ending while I was beginning. It's written. The opposition, man, we on the mission. Repentance. You ain't forgiven if you ain't forgiven. You get it? Don't spend your life living in competition. If it ain't by Christ up in your life, then you must keep your distance. Yeshaya, my king. Ahaya, my papa. Rawak, my mama. Not all that power, nada can stop us. We good. Endure this fight, and as always, no stress, stay blessed and get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right.
We in the hour of temptation. This is revelation, baby. We in the hour of temptation. And this is revelation. Time flies, it's getting real about a minute. The righteous will remain. You be taken if you sinning. The evils will increase. This is only the beginning. As in the days of Noah, he's coming for a remnant in his white linen.
It's about damn time. It's consummation of times. We judging Optimus Prime. Your cousin dropping the dime, so you in the coat. Or like that folk Christ said, all hell about to begin. Before we crack, I'm warming up and sitting on chairs just like a hen. Before the cock crow, they gon' knock down dogs. No Pimp C, Lil Kiki, Cyclops like Skull. See the beam in your eye, I spot that mold. Plus the vengeance of the Lord, plus Christ might hold. Ready to insert they medical mercs. They ready to purge, then pedal the hearse. They prophesying for the profit, but the people sign with no profit. See, I'ma tell like lobsters. You a shrimp, scampi, imposter. But the hope when you run, no eyes are cold. Blow the trumpet because some might not know. It's set like a diamond. We rest in 1,000. The 7 is climbing. We on heavenly timing. Better get it shaky if you can't run from a dog. A higher was on, you know, we roaming the woods like a hog. Decomposing their motives like them other parts to be under a law. We can see in the fog. We the chosen, not folding a hopeless media fraud. Wizard of Oz, take heed to the call.
And not obey the voice of my teachers. That means during the whole process, the teachers were given instruction. And we decided during the most prominent time in this earth, the most prophetic time in this earth, after all the works we put forth, after all the love we showed towards the Most High prior, we decided at the very last hour not to listen. He set up teachers to instruct the people. And anyone claiming that they're not following teachers and they just led by the Spirit and read the Bible by themselves, guess who's in the house with you? Guess who your teacher is? The devil. Satan is your teacher. The Most High has an order in heaven and on earth. And it behooves every one of the people within this earth, with total humility, to find that teacher and give them double honor, or you'll be out there by yourself. And guess what, brothers and sisters? No one can contend against this hour of temptation by themselves. No one.
All right, we are back. We are back. All right. So this, and I actually found this scripture. I realized that I forgot to put this one in here, but this is a heavy one about those people who don't leave. Check this out. This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 31. It says, one post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city has been taken at one end. So these are people within the United States going to one another and saying, hey, they locked it down. We can't get out. But check this out. This is verse 32. And that the passages are stopped, and the reeds have burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted. They're afraid. All the brothers that thought they was gangsters, that thought that they was ready, they're going to see when them bridges get burned and the boats are torched and ain't no way out of there. and if that dollar crashes, ain't no more money, and ain't no food, and ain't no water, and you're gonna see. You're gonna see. That's why Zechariah said, let everyone deliver their own soul. Those who decide not to leave, like the Most High said, blatant disobedience. Everything that you get and you ask for. You might as well just say to the Most High, you know what, destroy me, please. I would really like it if you just brought destruction upon me and my entire family. Because I didn't want to do like when people say, well, it costs too much to leave. The Most High said, leave. He said, once you're out, don't go back to your house. Listen, the Most High, we lean on the Most High, not our own understanding. If the Most High said to leave, if he says to leave, that means leave. And if you do his commandment and you're keeping his word, his law, statutes, and commandments, guess what he's going to do? He's going to guide you. You'll never lack. You may be hungry, but you won't starve to death. You may be thirsty, but you won't die of thirst, of dehydration. And guess what he's going to do? That's why that song is so important at the end. What he said? He said, no one can do this on their own. If you think you're going to sit there by yourself and write this thing out, it's not going to work out that way. You need people. You need leaders. You need people to guide you. This is why we're here. To be led of the Spirit, to lead others according to the Spirit.
That's right.
That's why we travel in all these places, to set up refuge for you. So when it's time for you to go, you have a place to go. Con, put a one in the chat if you're back and you're listening. All right. Next slide. We're seeing what Jeremiah is writing about here is eerily similar to what we saw in Josephus in the time of the fall of Jerusalem. The same things happening in the United States that happened when they came to bring down the United States. When they came to bring down the Jerusalem in 70 AD. Elder, get Josephus of the War, book 5, chapter 12, verses 2 through 3.
When Titus had therefore encompassed the city with this wall, he put garrisons.
See, what you guys don't realize, check this out. Everybody's the wall. Everybody thinks we're trying to keep immigrants out. If we're trying to keep immigrants out, why are we bringing in so many? Think. Use critical thinking, people. If you're saying the wall is to keep people out or to bring them in legally, why are we still accepting people coming in illegally? It's not about keeping people out. See, you know what Titus did? Titus said, you know what? We can't contend with them. Read the verses above this right here. He said we can't contend with them, but we can starve them, burn their crops, and then build a trench around Jerusalem and don't let anyone in or out. Build a wall. You know how long it took them to finish that wall? A wall that should have took months? 3 days. They put all their manpower into building this wall. It took them 3 days. 3. So it says, Titus had therefore encompassed the city with this wall. Read.
And put garrisons into proper places.
Mm-hmm.
He went around the wall at the first watch of the night.
So what a garrison is, brothers and sisters, is this troops stationed in a fortress or town to defend it. So what they did was they built the wall around Jerusalem, and then he set up armies around the wall. Read.
And observed how the guard was kept.
Mm-hmm.
The second watch he allotted Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
The commanders of the legions took third watch.
Mm-hmm.
They also cast lots amongst themselves who should be upon the watch in the nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
And who should go all night long around the spaces that were imposed between the garrisons.
Mm-hmm.
So all hope of escaping was now cut off from the Jews.
Read that part again.
So all hope of escaping was now cut off from the Jews.
So they had garrisons set up, and they would have men walk the border to make sure that anyone who may have gotten over or under or around that wall was killed immediately. So that no one, not one person would leave Jerusalem alive. Read.
Together with their liberty of going out of the city.
Together with their liberty of going out of the city, no one was allowed to leave. Let's go to the next slide. Let's check out something real quick. Whoa. Biden administration presses forward with border wall plans in Texas, angering allies. Ooh, once again, we see the same thing. They're angering who? Their allies. But didn't Joe Biden say that he was against the wall? But he's using funds that Donald Trump brought in to build the wall in the first place to continue building a wall. Y'all see that nice big wall back there? It says, even as the president says the barriers don't work, his administration says it will waive environmental laws to build them what? Quickly. What did Titus do? Titus built the wall quickly. Why? Because if he didn't build it fast enough, people would leave. Sound familiar? He even said that the barriers don't work. They don't work at keeping people out. Check this out. It says, according to the New York Times, U.S. will build a stretch of border wall and begin deportations to Venezuela. So they're allowing Ukrainians in. They're allowing all these other people from Gentile nations in, but they're kicking our people out. See, the thing, these Venezuelans think this is a bad thing. They don't realize they're being blessed. They don't realize how big of a blessing their deportation is. There's a lot of people going in there that won't come out. But check out this last New York Times. At the bottom, it says, a border wall to the north. Republicans want to discuss. Brothers and sisters, they want to build another wall to border the U.S. from Canada because of quote unquote terrorists. So you thought that only Mexico was cut off. Yeah, no, you ain't getting out through Canada either. I promise you, I'm telling you right now what's going to happen. I'm telling you right now what's going to happen. There's going to be a false flag. They're going to say that these people are coming through to the U.S. from Canada, and then they're going to switch this whole thing and say we need another wall. We have to protect the U.S. citizens from terrorists and criminals making their way through Canada. Keep in mind, Canadians only need a passport to get here. They don't have to have a visa. It means that anybody from over there can come over here, can come over to the United States. A border to the north? You already got one on the south. They say, you know what? Might as well lock it up. So if you can't get out through Mexico and you can't get out through Canada, how are you going to get out? Swim? Well, if you stay in the United States, you're going to be swimming anyways. But we're going to see that here in a little minute. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. So what happens next? They close the borders. No one can get in or out. The extreme famine and drought will begin. See, there was a little conversation going on under one of our lessons about prophets. and prophetesses and whether or not the office of the prophet still exists. It does exist, just not the same way that it used to exist. See, prior to Christ, before Christ, prophets interacted directly with the Most High to receive prophetic vision. Whereas after Christ, we receive our understanding of prophecy from Christ himself. We don't receive prophecy direct as it comes directly from the Most High the way the previous prophets did. So if anyone's coming and saying that they're speaking directly to the Most High and he showed them something, listen, the Most High revealed everything that he was going to reveal to Christ. And Christ laid it out for us through the scriptures. How many of you guys know that Christ is actually the one who gave us revelation? John just wrote it down. We receive our understanding of prophecy through Christ. So understand what we see here. I'm not a prophet like Samuel, but the Most High did give us the understanding to prophesy. Is that right, Elder?
Con.
That is the office of a prophet within this church. Within any church, according to Christ. Extreme famine and drought will begin. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 26, Elder.
Jeremiah chapter 50, starting at verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
Come against her from the uttermost border.
Mm-hmm.
Open her storehouses. Cast her up as heaps. And destroy her utterly.
Heaps. Read.
Destroy her utterly.
Destroy her utterly. So, after the borders have closed, and now, of course, total famine will break out as a result of the loss of farmers. We read that, remember, earlier when we were talking about the foreigners coming in and leaving. It said that we will have no more farmers and agriculturalists, along with the deliberate killing of livestock and poisoning the water. If you guys don't know about that, Google it and you'll see all the news coming up on them killing, on the death of all of the cattle and them poisoning the water. Oh, y'all didn't know there was poison in the water? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it says, come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses. What are storehouses for? Food. That means that the foreigners are going to come in and eat up all of the food. Read. And it says, cast her up as heaps. Heaps actually means ruins. The definition of heaps is ruins. They are going to ruin Babylon and let nothing of her be left. Read.
Verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
Slay her bullocks.
They're killing cattle. Read.
Let them go down to the slaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Woe unto them.
Mm-hmm.
For their day has come, the time of their visitation.
Mm-hmm.
The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon.
Whoa. I thought we weren't supposed to leave Babylon. I thought we were supposed to stay in the United States. He said, the voice of them that flee and escape. It is an escape, brothers and sisters. If you want to escape the judgment, you got to leave. It says, the voice of them that flee and escape out of the United States. Read.
To declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our God.
We're going to be, the people who leave, we're going to be going to all of our brothers and sisters across the four corners of the earth, wherever the Most High might have led us to, and we're going to be telling them, the Most High is coming back for us. He said, vengeance. Read that part one more time. To declare?
To declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our God, the vengeance of his temple.
The vengeance of his temple. Not only is he going to destroy the Babylon for destroying us, but he's also going to go over there to Israel that have taken our temple. But that's going to come from the people that escape, not the people who are still there. People who are still there, you're going to be fighting for your life. In this moment, you're going to be fighting for your life. Those people who are on the outside, we're going to be looking and saying, look, the Most High is coming back for us. The Most High is bringing judgment upon the United States. They can't come fast enough. Next slide. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 38, in case it might have went over your head. What's going to happen to the waters? Read.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 28, starting at verse 38.
Mm-hmm.
A drought is upon her waters,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall be dried up.
They shall be what?
Dried up.
Water's going to be in short supply. Read.
For it is the land of the graven images.
It is
and
the land of the graven images. Read.
And they are mad upon their idols.
Oh, man, they're mad upon their idols. Can't put it down. The Christians that can't let go of Jesus H. Christ. The brothers and sisters that just can't get enough of Allah. Buddhists. Whatever you got, Hindus, whatever the case might be, they can't give up them idols. Yahweh. Yahweh. Yah. How many of y'all know that the Most High said that all the gods of the nations are idols? How many of y'all know that the brothers and sisters that are Israelites that are calling on the name of Yah and Yahweh are calling on the same God that you claim is the synagogue of Satan over there in Israel right now? But doesn't the scripture say that all the gods of the nations are idols? Isn't that a God of the nations? When you go into the history of the code of Yahweh, look it up. Deities, gods, goddesses, and the images of God. Look up what it talks about Yahweh. It doesn't start with the Israelites. It starts in the land of Canaan. You're missing it. Just because you find Yah in the land of Canaan and Israelites live there, that does not mean that that's our God. That God was there when we arrived. All the gods of the nations are idols. Every single one. They're the synagogue of Satan. The white man's the devil. The devil is over there in Israel's temple. And the devil is worshiping the true God. Would stand the reason that the synagogue of Satan would be worshiping Satan, correct? I think that's probably a good reason why when in Saudi Arabia at Jabal el-Lawz, where they found the altar that was created to the calf, they found an inscription of Yah, Ha, Wah, Ha written on there in Hebrew. And wasn't that the altar for the golden calf? The scriptures say that broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And last time I checked, that is the Jewish national name of God. Last time I checked, 50% of the world is Christian, and 50% of the world believe that his name is Yahweh or Yahweh or the Tetragrammaton. Sounds pretty broad to me, don't you think? Put a 1 in the chat if that's pretty broad. $50% of the world is pretty broad. Just saying. They are mad upon their idols. They're addicted to them. They can't let them go. It's a spirit attached to it that you just can't shake. I told y'all I was going in today. The Holy Spirit is working. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 36.
Jeremiah chapter 51, starting at verse 36.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will plead thy cause.
He said, I will plead thy cause. When you talk about pleading, that's not pleading as in please, please, please. That's pleading as in bringing destruction. Read.
And take vengeance for thee.
And he said, I'm going to take vengeance for you, for the children of Israel. Read.
And I will dry up her sea. He
will dry up her sea and what?
Make her springs dry.
That means that the fresh water that you know what? I just got some land in Tennessee that has a creek on it with a bunch of fresh water, endless supply. You're going to go out there And you're going to see that the Most High done dried it all up. You're going to say, Lord, why have you done this to me? Well, I told you it was going to happen. In fact, I didn't just tell you, I promised you. This is a part of Israel's deliverance. Just like he turned Egypt's water into blood, did he not? For those who doubt that a food shortage can happen, let's go to the next slide. Let me show you something. This was studied in a college, between a couple of different colleges. It was a study that was ran. It's called Food Chain Reaction, a global food security game. Written and compiled by Mary Kate Fisher, PhD, and Yi San Su, PhD. This was back in December of 2015, brothers and sisters. Check out what it says about 2022 through 2024. Significant droughts scattered across major production areas. Sound familiar? Oil prices rise dramatically, reinforcing biofuels production. Sound familiar? Who produces 50% of the world's oil now? BRICS. BRICS does. Unrest and migration intensify. Panic and buying in the face of uncertainty. Sound familiar? Put a 1 in the chat if any of this sounds like anything that we've gone over. Things that are happening right now in 2024 and things that were happening in 2023. Put a 1 in the chat if you see it. Please tell me I'm not the only one seeing it. Unrest, migration intensify, panic buying in the face of uncertainty. People going and buying a bunch of toilet paper and a bunch of hand sanitizer and this and that, buying up everything, thinking that it's actually going to help you. Is it going to help you or is it going to make you a target when you have everything that everybody else needs in a land that neither of you are going to escape? It's only you and them inside of them walls. And if a lot of y'all got big mouths, you know, I got a bunch of rice that I had stored up along with some beans and some corn dogs. I got it all up in there. And guess what? When everything go down and they say ain't no food, ain't no toilet paper, you know what? I remember Johnny down the street said that he's been stocking up. He's a doomsday prepper. How about I get 10 other people to go down there and take all of his stuff? And if you don't think that that's going to happen, next slide. Let's go to Josephus. What happened during the fall of 70 AD? Let's see what happened. Remember, everything comes back around, brothers and sisters. I told y'all I'm going into it. Let's get the second half of verse 3, Elder. Then
did famine widen its progress.
The famine widened its progress. Read.
And devoured the people by whole houses and families.
Whole houses and families. Read.
The upper rooms were full of women and children that were dying of famine.
Dying of famine. Read.
And the lanes of the city were full of dead bodies of the aged.
Just dead bodies throughout the entire city. Read.
The children also and the young men wandered about the marketplaces like shadows, all swallowed with the famine and fell dead.
All sweat. When you're in famine, your stomach swells, it bloats. So you got people walking around like zombies that haven't eaten, that are dying. They're not even going to be people. This is going to be like shadows. Read.
All swelled with the famine and fell dead wherever their misery seized them.
Wherever their misery seized them. Read.
Famine confounded all natural possessions. For those who, I'm sorry, this slide is not looking right over here. For those who are just going to die, looked upon those who are gone to rest. Slakia. One moment.
Something wrong with the slide?
Yeah, I gotta try to read it from here. Let's see. Lost my place.
Salakia. That's my apologies.
But the famine confounded all natural passions. For
So it
those
said
who
it
were
confounded all natural passions. What does that mean? The Christ said the love of many shall wax cold when he was talking about the end times in Matthew chapter 24. So this is saying that because of the famine in the land, people's natural passions, their natural love for other people, their natural feelings towards others are gone. They don't care about anyone but themselves. What did he say happened? It went so bad. They did what? It said what? Read.
for those who were going to just die, looked upon those who were gone to rest before them with dry eyes and open mouths.
It says they no tears. No tears, no emotion whatsoever. It got so bad, our people started cannibalizing one another, brothers and sisters. Read.
A deep silence also, and a kind of deadly night has seized upon the city.
It was eerily quiet. Couldn't even hear birds singing. Just eerily quiet. Read.
While yet the robbers were more terrible than the miseries were themselves.
The what? See, y'all think, listen, this is going to turn into the purge. These people are the people who have stuff, you're the one in danger. You're the one in danger. It's you. You're the one in danger. He said, and the robbers, what?
Were still more terrible than these miseries were themselves.
He said the robbers were worse than the famine. There's going to be people that use this as an excuse to enact everything that they wanted to enact their entire lives. Read.
For they break open those houses which were no other than graves for dead bodies, and plundered them of what they had.
So they would go into the houses, break open the houses, and take what was left in there. And then what happened?
And carrying off the coverings of their bodies.
And
went
carrying
out
off
laughing.
the coverings of their bodies. They took their clothes. Read.
Went out laughing, and tried the points of their swords in the dead bodies.
So it said that they went out laughing. These people found this funny. They found it humorous. He said they tried the points of their swords in the dead bodies. They were stabbing dead bodies and cutting up corpses. They thought it was fun. Read.
And in order to prove in order to prove what metal they were made of, they thrust some of those through that still lay alive on the ground.
They were killing people that were still alive. If y'all have any doubts as to what a famine can do, if there was ever any doubt as to what a famine can do. See, the Most High is going to dry up the springs, and there will be no rain. There's going to be a drought in the land. And all the storehouses have already been opened and pillaged. Those who have flee and escape will know that this is the judgment from the Most High on the United States. And when all men have abandoned God and become disillusioned with their faiths, they will roll out the God of this world. Just like Albert Pike said. These people are dead. Those who aren't dead will be starving. And everyone who's alive is going to be godless. And the government's going to come out and say, you know what, guys? We have a solution. All you have to do is receive this mark. We have rations. We have food. You want to be able to go from city to city again? All you got to do is take this small, it's just a grain of rice goes in your hand. And you know what? We'll even give you a credit. We'll put money on your check? How many people do you think who are in if they had the mark of the beast and in this time that Josephus is talking about, how many of those people would have taken it? I want to hear from you in the chat. How many of those people would have taken it if this was offered to them? But not only with that, they're going to roll out what? As Albert Pike said, they're going to roll out the quote unquote pure doctrine of Lucifer. And guess what? People are going to accept it. They're going to accept Lucifer as their God. They're going to accept Lucifer as their God. And they're going to turn the entire world to worship the beast, just like Revelation says, that the daughter of Babylon, that the United States would cause the entire world to worship before the beast, before Rome. And when that happens, Rome and no other nation will have any use for the United States. You've unrolled the new currency. You've unrolled the new system. You have unrolled the new God. Now, Babylon, we no longer need your influence. It's time for you to go. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following us, brothers and sisters. I want to make sure that you're following here. They're going to offer the world relief through the mark. Telling you, brothers and sisters. Let's go to the next slide. After the United States has crumbled economically and the world is turned back to the beast, then Iran and his partners will begin to fire on and destroy her. How does that look? Let's get Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 1. Verse 13, Salakia, verse 13.
Jeremiah chapter 50, starting at verse 13.
Uh-huh.
Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited,
Mm-hmm.
but it shall be wholly desolate.
It shall be wholly desolate. So if you think you're going to survive, no. Because of the wrath of the Most High, it will not be inhabited. Read.
Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished.
They're going to be like, what just happened? How is this even possible? Read.
And hiss at all her plagues.
Mm-hmm.
Put yourselves in array against Babylon around about.
Mm-hmm.
All ye that bend the bow.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot at her, spare no arrows.
Shoot at her. Spare no arrows. Use every nuclear weapon you got. Read.
For she has sinned against the Lord.
She has sinned against the Lord. Read.
Shout against her round about.
Mm-hmm.
She hath given her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Her foundations are fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Her walls are thrown down.
Mm-hmm.
For it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her.
The Most High says that he's going to she is going to be utterly desolate. No one, if you decide that your destiny is to stay in the United States and not do as the Most High commanded you, consider this your fate. It said that halfway desolate, a quarter desolate. No, it says wholly desolate. The United States will be wholly desolate. Iran and his armies. Let's get Jeremiah. Let's go to the next chapter and get Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 11.
Jeremiah chapter 51, starting at verse 11. Make bright the arrows.
What does that mean? Make bright the arrows. Keep in mind, the time that Jeremiah is living in, he doesn't know what a nuclear weapon is. He's never seen one. All he sees is something that's the similitude of something that he knows. So he's seeing flaming arrows. Read.
Make bright the arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Gather the shields.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord hath raised up the spirit of kings of the Medes.
He's raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Who is the king of the Medes? The Iranians. Read.
For his device is against Babylon.
He's going to use them like a handgun. Against who? Against the United States. Read.
To destroy it. Because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple.
The vengeance of his temple, of his people. Iran and his armies, along with those who have set themselves against Babylon, against the United States, or turned against the United States, will fire weapons of mass destruction with pinpoint accuracy, targeting the fault lines and nuclear plants. Let's go to the next slide. Check this out. BRICS and Iran's ascent to in the nuclear chess game. Iran's influence is expanding significantly. What does that mean? People agree and are uniting their ideals with Iran, specifically BRICS. Another one says, this is from the Jerusalem Post. Nuclear-armed Israel's war in Gaza keeps the world on edge of doomsday clock. The clock in 1947 to warn the public about how close mankind is to destroying the world. Iran adds pressure on the U.S. with nuclear program acceleration. They've accelerated the production of nuclear weapons. The UN says that Tehran has increased output of near weapons grade uranium after summer slowdown. Iran is busy, brothers and sisters. Put a 1 in the chat if you're seeing this. You see it. So they're gonna be targeting the Iranians when they fire these nuclear weapons. They're gonna be targeting specific areas, namely the fault lines. Why? Some people who are ignorant to this information think that nuclear power plants can blow up. That is not true. Nuclear power plants don't blow up, they melt down. So by targeting the fault lines, by targeting these nuclear plants on these fault lines, there will be a meltdown, which means that the release of toxic radiation for 20 miles per nuclear power plant. How many of you guys know that there's over almost 2,000 nuclear plants on the West Coast alone, on the East Coast alone? Now put a 20-mile radius on each one of those, and that's how many places are going to be filled with radiation and toxins that you can't breathe, that the water is going to be poisoned. So you're going to die one of two ways. You're going to get blown up, or the radiation is going to get you. But that's not all. Let's go to the next slide. Christ prophesied that the closer we come to his return, he said that there will be earthquakes in diverse places, natural disasters we will begin to witness. The United States nuclear power plants, while bombing them cannot cause for them to explode, it will cause them to melt down, releasing massive amounts of radiation and toxic fumes for a radius of 20 miles each. This much nuclear impact from the war will cause earthquakes to ensue, smaller earthquakes that will cause for the nuclear plants to melt down in succession. So you have the radiation and you have the toxic fumes from the nuclear weapons, from the nuclear power plants, and earthquakes happening in small spurts that are taking place from the fault line shaking. But there's something more important to examine here. An event that's being caused by the Most High. This is independent of Iran. This is independent of BRICS. The Most High is going to cause for the tectonic plates to shift, causing a massive earthquake that mankind has causing the most massive earthquake mankind has ever seen. Even larger than that of what took place in the deluge. I'm going to say that again. Even larger than that which took place during the deluge. How many of you guys know that during the flood, the tectonic plates were shifting? It was the earth was originally one landmass, but geysers shot through the earth. The tectonic plate shifted and broke the land into pieces. This earthquake that's going to happen is greater than even that. This earthquake will cause for the United States to split into 3 pieces and for the continents to shift once again. Don't believe me? Let's read it. Revelation chapter 16, verse 18.
I was just sending you a message, a private message. I need to drop off for a second to deal with this instability over here. So give me a second. I'll be right back. I got to drop off before it drops me.
No problem. I'll handle it.
I'll be right back.
Trying to tell y'all the devil is busy. But listen, ain't nothing going to stop. All right. Here we go. So Revelation chapter 16, verse 18. And there were voices and thunderings and thunders and lightnings. And there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty and so great. This is going to be the biggest earthquake mankind has ever seen. And while this is happening, you're going to have inclement weather, tornadoes, hurricanes, all taking place at the same time, working together to do what? Verse 19. And the great city was divided into 3 parts. I'm going to say that again. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. I'm telling you this right now. If you live in a city, I don't care where you are on the earth, get out. Because it's not just going to be the United States shaking and crumbling. The entire earth is going to feel this earthquake. So much so that the cities of all the nations are going to fall. You live in a high rise, expect for it to tip over. So don't think that just because you're on the outside of the United States. Listen, this is the world's largest earthquake. If you think that the biggest earthquake that the world has ever seen, that the entire earth is going to feel is not going to affect you, get somewhere rural where a building can't fall on you. Because so much so that cities all around the world are going to be crumbling to ruins. What does it say? It says, and the great Babylon, the great United States, the greatest nation on earth, came into remembrance before God to give her the cup of wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Everyone is going to realize who the true God is when that land is completely and utterly destroyed. What does verse 20 says? It says, and every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. What does that mean? The mountains were not found. The islands fleeing away means that the Most High is going to be moving the land. The land is going to be shifting the same way that it shifted in the days of Noah. We're going to prove it. So every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. We're going to show you what that means here in a second. The PowerPoint presentation. Here. One moment, brothers and sisters.
All right, I'm back.
Perfect. Just in time for the next slide. There we are. Okay, so check this out. In 1960, the Valdivia earthquake that happened in Chile, it was the largest earthquake ever recorded. It was 9.4 to 9.6 on the Richter scale. And it only lasted for 10 minutes. If y'all can see those pictures, look at that damage in 10 minutes. That's the damage that this earthquake did in 10 minutes. Now, I want you to imagine, what the United States is going to look like with an earthquake even greater than what you see here from Chile. Look at those buildings, brothers and sisters. Y'all see it? These aren't even high rises. These are just regular buildings, one-story buildings. Look at the streets, brothers and sisters. Look at the streets. This was 10 minutes. Look at how much damage was done in 10 minutes. Now, I want you to think about this earthquake that is going to be massive enough to shift land around, and imagine what's going to be happening around the world. I'm telling y'all, the Most High is coming, and angry black man is a massive understatement. Let's go to the next slide. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 42.
Jeremiah.
This earthquake will not only split the land into three parts. This earthquake will not only split the land into three parts, but it'll also cause for the nearby islands and continents to begin to shift as they did in the days of Noah. Let's prove it. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 42. Salaki, Elder.
Jeremiah chapter 51, starting at verse 42.
Mm-hmm.
The sea has come up upon Babylon.
Oh, so the Most High is still not done with Babylon. After the earthquake, after the nuclear weapons, after the radiation and the fallout, he says, the sea shall come up upon Babylon. Read.
She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof.
She is covered with the multitude of what?
The waves thereof.
That is why the mountains were not found in Revelation chapter 16, verse 20. It is under water. Jeremiah writes from his vision that the sea is risen up over Babylon, the United States, which is why the mountains were not found. The word cover, when you look at that word cover in Hebrew right there, it means engulfed. This means that Babylon will be split into three parts and then sink into the ocean like Atlantis. Y'all following me here? Watch this. I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show y'all something y'all probably haven't seen before here in a second. It will sink into the water like Atlantis. Those who follow the cult of Baal know this. Check this out. Let's go to the next slide. I'm going to show y'all the cult of Baal. This shows all of the factions, the religious factions and religious standings and gods and events that took place leading up to the rise and the fall of Babylon. Now, if you zoom in on the bottom, the consummation, you see USA, 1776. Masonic Atlantis. What did Atlantis do, brothers and sisters? Put it in the chat. What happened to Atlantis? I might have forgot. Oh, and look at that. It even has the gods of America, the pyramid of reincarnated souls. Horus, Dionysus, Bacchus, and Jesus. Broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, brothers and sisters. When you look at this, you see a lot of things in here. Isis and Horus equals Mary and Jesus. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you here, it says Baal, Moloch, Marduk, Set, Jupiter, Satan. I'm trying to tell y'all, y'all have no idea. You gotta be paying attention. Even has at the top, Yah, Canaanite God. Look at that. If you can, look this up so that you can look through all of it on there. It has Hebrews as the Hyksos from Josephus. Y'all have no idea how they've planned this entire thing out. Masonic Atlantis, even they know it's going underwater. And even then, look, they even have the Judeans in cahoots, the synagogue of Satan, Judea, synagogue of Satan. But y'all serving the same God as them? When it was them who actually helped establish the Vatican all the way down to creating the United States? That's the God you serve? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree that this entire fallout describes fallen, wickedness, destruction, mischief. All these things that live in the United States, do all these not describe what's taking place, those words? Guess what? When you break down that word in the Hebrew, Yah means he is, and Hawa means very wickedness, destruction, mischief, very wicked. And you wonder why the United States is so evil. It has become a habitation of devils. And these devils just so happen to call on their God, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Jehovah. How many of y'all know that those are all the same name, just different versions of it? It's all the Tetragrammaton YHWH. I'm going to show you something else. Let's go to the next slide, Elder. Check this out. U.S. naval map of future America. They have it split into 3 parts and sinking. Interesting. How many of you have ever seen this before? In case y'all thought we were tripping. It's split into 3 parts and sinking. Y'all still don't believe us. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 63. Let's go to the next slide, Elder. We're going to prove it since some of y'all probably still don't believe us here. Confirming the United States will sink underwater. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 63. Can you read that for me, Elder? The water.
Salaki, I was still muted.
No problem.
Jeremiah chapter 51, starting at verse 63.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall be, when thou hast made an end of the reading of this book.
So it said, once you've made an end of the reading of this book, what do? Read.
That thou shalt bind a stone to it.
He said, take this book, roll it up, and tie a stone to it. Then do what? Read.
And cast it into the midst of the Euphrates.
Cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. But what does he say to tell him? Read.
And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink.
Thus shall Babylon sink.